Hi, I'm a bored black girl and this is Books and Beauty, where I do a makeup and talk about a book that I've read. This video's book is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I'm a little nervous. This is my first video on one of these, but we're just gonna keep going. On September 14th, Ali Hazelwood under Berkeley Books published her debut novel, The Love Hypothesis. And not too long after, with the help of TikTok or BookTok and Instagram, it quickly blew up, gaining popularity and landing itself on the New York Times bestsellers list and everyone's For You page. The contemporary romance fiction novel gave readers their first look into academia and the niche subgenre. With Ali Hazelwood herself being a neuroscientist and neuroscience professor, she had first-hand and up-close experience with academia. Originally published in 2018, The Love Hypothesis, or Head Over Feet, was a Star Wars fan fiction that focused on the ship between Rey and Kylo. How it went from fan fiction to published book is nothing short of extreme luck, being randomly stumbled across by a literacy agent. Since then, Ali Hazelwood has managed to land her second book, Love on the Brain, and 3 novella collection, Loath to Love You, both on the New York Times bestsellers list. She's also partnered with Biscos Pictures for a live adaptation of The Love Hypothesis. Now, apart from being based on one of my favorite celebrity men, Adam Driver, I also bought this book solely based on the TikToks I saw of it, specifically TikToks and photos that showed their shock at a certain scene, which gave me the impression that the book fell under a more adult category. Okay, that was taking too long. I'm sorry. I don't think I had the patience for that. That was taking far too long. We're just gonna use this one instead. Now, I hate to do this to myself. I have to expose myself a bit here. But as someone who loves to read romance in any form, whether that's like published books or like fan fiction, I'd be lying if I said that I bought this book solely for its romance, because that's not true. I more so bought it because of the false promise that I saw online that sort of depicted it as erotica, or at least that it like had some shocking or heavy erotica. So I hate to expose myself, but come on. Everybody does it, right? To some extent. Maybe not everybody, but few. A few of you guys out there, don't even lie. Okay. I know I look a little crazy, but just ignore that. And now we're finally going to talk about what the book is actually about. Love Hypothesis is about Olive Smith, a third-year PhD student who is trying to convince her best friend On that it's okay for her to date her ex, Jeremy. She ends up lying and saying that she's going on a date, and when she sees On, she's enforced her, she chooses to kiss a stranger. This stranger is, of course, Adam Carlson, a notorious asshole at Olive's school, and they agree to start fake dating because they're both gaining something, basically. This part, I'm going to talk about my opinions my first time reading, and then I'll talk about why I read it the second time and my overall opinion of it reading it the first time, and then we'll move into my opinions from reading it the second time around. Okay, to be completely honest, the first time I read the prologue, I was confused. I wasn't aware that there was a time jump, and I honestly was also not aware that the person Olive was talking with in the bathroom was Adam. I don't know why I didn't figure that out until it came up later in the book. And also, I thought it was kind of obvious that this book was based on fan fiction, because I'm pretty sure in Star Wars, Rey's parents are dead, and of course, in classic female main character fan fiction. Oh my gosh, my makeup. I didn't even see this part. Of course, in classic female main character of a fan fiction way, her parents are dead. And also, a 2-year and 11-month time jump is crazy. That killed me both times. That's so much time. I mean, it's understandable. Is it understandable? No, it's not. It's kind of insane. I guess it put emphasis a bit on the relationship because, you know, they've been waiting for each other for so long, but it's still, it's long. I think starting your bromance book with an unconsensual kiss and having that be the thing that starts them fake dating is very weird. And I also think it's extra weird because it's used as a main selling point for the book. It's literally on the cover. I mean, this could also be the kiss from the epilogue, but let's be honest, it's not the kiss from the epilogue. It's the kiss from the first chapter. That's insane. But I did agree with Adam when he threatened to report Olive. I think that he was very right in that because that's insane. To just kiss me and I'm asking you, why did you kiss me? And you're like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And she really said, oh, I thought you said yes. Come on, girl. You heard him say yes. For most of this book, if not all of it, I had mixed feelings about An and how good of a friend she was to Olive. I mean, what kind of friend goes after your ex? Even if it was like only a few dates. But I would be lying if I said like the backstory of their friendship wasn't cute, because it was. I think hearing about the way An's family like invites, or I guess An invites Olive over to like Thanksgiving dinner, that's so cute. And An's sister cooks for Olive. I'm sorry, that's adorable. I really like the backstory of their friendship, but I think their friendship in the book was just not for me. And honestly, it might just be me. I feel like a lot of the times that we saw Olive talking to An and thinking about An, I felt like some of them were a little romantic. That might just be my little brain trying to, you know, put two and two together, but like, I don't know. Olive, that's something you want to tell us? I'm actually so scared of putting too much blush on. This is my first books and beauty video, and if I have too much blush on, I will literally like scream. It won't be funny. I will scream. You know what? I feel like I have so much on right now. This isn't funny. Stop. No, we're not gonna think about it. We're just gonna blend it out and keep going. Also, I feel like sometimes An had some weirdo behavior. Olive is a better, I'm trying to like move my hair out the way. Olive is a much better friend than me, because if my best friend said that my ex, who she likes, is cooler than the guy I'm dating now, we wouldn't be friends for long. Trust and believe that we would not be friends for long. Also, when it comes to An and Jeremy, I feel like their relationship is like low-key wrong on both ends, but very much on An specifically. Just like how they met and like the lengths that Olive goes to for them to feel comfortable dating is a really red flag to me. And what's extra annoying about it is that like Olive can tell that An is like genuinely interested in Jeremy, and that's gotta feel some kind of way. She's really strong. She's much stronger than me. I honestly would not have been able to do it. Like, that would have drove me actually insane. Especially because how does it only take you less than a month? Less than a month. I was gonna say 1 month. Less than a month to get with your best friend's ex. Even if she moved on, I feel like there has to be a certain time period. And I feel like a month or less than is not it. I think maybe 2 months at least. But come on. For someone who is meant to be like grumpy or an asshole, I'm not completely sure if this book is supposed to be grumpy sunshine. I don't think it is, but for some reason my brain kept telling me that as I was reading. Well, for someone who's supposed to be like, you know, a notorious asshole, Adam is honestly super caring for Olive in the beginning. He points out, first of all, he goes along with the whole thing. And he points out that it's weird that On and Jeremy want to be together. It's weird. And in the beginning, I'm pretty sure it was like the night after, or maybe a while after their first kiss, he goes to Olive's dorm and meets up with her and talks to her. Crazy, unprovoked, mind you. He did that all of his own. That's like all his own choice. And then soon he was like, oh, do you want me to walk you to your car? Because, you know, On might be watching. You just wanted to walk her, like, I don't know. He's kind of sweet. That was sweet to me. I just actually spilled powder all over my bed. Oh my God. We're gonna keep going. The first time I read this book, I was very much anticipating this scene, only for it to be two measly sentences, which the second sentence only has 2 words. Crazy. It was posted all over TikTok. It was like talked about a lot, at least to me it was. And I was thinking, okay, it was just a little controversial. And it gave me this idea that this book was hot and heavy. I waited 15 long chapters and 1 long prologue for this. Chapter 16, I think, is the only place I used these red sticky tabs, which are for erotica, in my book. And although I annotated a lot, I really didn't have much to say. If I haven't made it clear already, the first time I read this book, I was very annoyed. So when the ending came, I was, of course, very happy to be finishing it. I was expecting the classic epilogue, you know, the classic I love you scene. And, you know, they kiss and, oh, I love you. And, you know, 2 years later, they have a house and 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl, and 2 dogs, or, you know, whatever the academia equivalent of that is. But honestly, now that I look back at it, I really must not have liked this book, because after I read the final chapter, I couldn't even bring myself to read the epilogue. As I found the last chapter, I just found myself annoyed. And for some reason, Olive saying I love you in Dutch really triggered something in me. I mean, I didn't read the epilogue. I didn't read like the little extra part in the back where it's like a sneak peek into the next book. I spent my own money on this. I didn't even like go all the way through with it.
Where is the money that she went to work and got herself? Not her dad's money or her grandpa's money.
Truthfully, the first time around, I left this book feeling like I just wasted my time. I was expecting it to be a bit more spicy, and it was lukewarm at best. And I think the ending was just so unsatisfying. I just remember being so upset after reading this book, and I felt like, honestly, I'd been conned. So you're probably wondering, okay, Muji, you didn't like the book. Why read it again? Truthfully, a big part of why I read this book is because I wanted to challenge myself. It was my first time rereading a book, and my first time reading a book specifically for the purpose of a video. It was also the first time reading a book in a long time for me, and I feel like it sort of jump-started my sort of creativity and sort of enjoyment of reading and writing, because along with me starting to read again, I've also started to write again. So I think I really just wanted to push myself back to doing the things that I really enjoy doing. Now it's time to get into my opinion the second time around reading this book. Okay, reading the prologue the second time around, it was very obvious that it was Adam, but I feel like he was presented more as a student than he was a professor. And I also liked the advice that he had for Olive, that your reason needs to be better than your opinion of yourself, how good or bad you are. Making it seem like Adam liked or even eased into the kiss that Olive gave him without consent was very weird. And also Olive not even fully sure she saw On and still kissing him was very weird. I don't even think weird is the right word, honestly. I think gross. I think gross is the right word. I'm not sure why I didn't pay attention to that the first time, but Olive also tries to tell Adam that he says yes. But I think it was good that in the end, Olive did take accountability and own up to it, but it just The kiss is still something that gets me. Consent in books is iffy at times. The second time around, I felt that On was weird and I don't want to say a bad friend, but maybe not a good one. To have a crush on a guy that your friend, quote unquote, best friend brought to your birthday is weird behavior. Now, besides the whole Jeremy thing, I do like On and Olive's friendship. Hearing, you know, how they both got into academia, I felt that that was very adorable. But my honest opinion of On goes back and forth. It's clear that her and Olive are good friends because, you know, we get the backstory of their friendship, but I feel like she does things that contradicts this. Because why would she tell Jeremy that Olive and Adam are dating? Why? I feel like sometimes she oversteps when it comes to Olive and Adam's relationship. It's small, like suggesting Olive to kiss Adam when he moves the car, and then it's big, like, you know, telling Olive to put sunscreen on Adam in front of the whole school. And when she compares putting sunscreen on Adam's shirtless, sweaty body, no offense, Adam, Adam's shirtless, sweaty body, to her putting her putting sunscreen on Jeremy's face. Those are not the same things. And the more and more I read, the more I really started to question what kind of friend she was, because this goes for both Malcolm and On, but I felt like, I don't know, maybe I was just a little targeted On, but to get a room and then not tell Olive and then tell her like last minute and be like, oh, you know, we get to save money, plus I get to have my first trip with my boyfriend. Be serious. Be serious. You know you're wrong for that, like, please. It's still currently looking interesting. I think it looks more interesting than before, but let's talk about Malcolm. I honestly feel bad for Malcolm because Olive is dating that professor that sort of sent him back a year of graduating. And on top of that, Adam is the only one who keeps Olive's secret. So he's the only one that knows. So I feel like he's really close to her. I don't want to say closer to her than On, but I feel like in the span of the book, he definitely was, because obviously you have to keep a secret, and he honestly kept it for a long time. I feel like that says a lot about him. The more I think about it, the more I think that On and Jeremy's relationship is weird, because I want you to imagine that you are Olive. Your parents are dead, and you have 2, maybe 3 people in the entire world that you trust. One of them is Dr. Alson. I think that's how you say your name. And I feel like that's more of a professional relationship, so that doesn't even count. Okay, so you're Olive, no parents, 2 best friends, and then you meet a boy. Mind you, Olive is not even sure if she enjoys being with people romantically or sexually. So you meet a boy and you like him enough to bring him to your best friend. Mind you, one of only 2 people in this entire world. So you like him enough to bring him to your best friend's birthday. And they hit it off. Suspicious, red flag number 1, they hit it off. And then by the end of the night, you catch his eyes gazing at her. And to make matters worse, you know that she really likes him. You know that she actually really likes him. To the point where she is going to your other best friend, Malcolm, and talking to him about how awesome he is, but oh, it would be so bad because, you know, I can't because it's all of it. But she still does it. Like, on top of all of that, Olive has to go to lengths to make Anne think that it's okay for them to be together because she's feeling guilty. Sorry for that. I just feel like if you are feeling guilty about doing something, you probably shouldn't do it. You shouldn't have your friend convince you that it's okay and then you say, oh yeah, it's fine, she's fine with it. I really don't feel like she was a good friend for that. I feel like being with Jeremy is just weird. It's so weird. I can like never defend it. To be completely honest, the first time around, I didn't really pay attention to all of Adam's actions, let alone the weight to them. But the second time around, I think it really hit me, not only to come to Olive's dorm, but to pretend to be with her while Anne was there was an extremely nice thing for him to do. He could have just told Anne, hey, you're weird. Me and Olive not together, you're weird. But he didn't. He was going to lie. Like, he was prepared to be like, yeah, me and her together, you know, love her to bits. As I continued to read, I think it became obvious that Olive and Adam both had something for each other. It starts out small, but it's definitely there. Like, Adam not needing to write down in his like Adam not needing to write down in his calendar the date, the coffee date that they do. And then also him like asking Olive questions like as soon as she's ready to leave, simply because he just wants to keep talking to her. As well as deflecting Tom's, don't even get me started on Tom Belton, sorry. But also like deflecting Tom Belton's question when it was obvious that he was getting a little too personal and Olive really couldn't handle it. Also him saying there's that when he finds out that Olive is also going to be going to the picnic. I don't know if we're supposed to be grumpy. I don't know if we're supposed to be a grumpy character, but honestly, Adam really isn't. Like, he's not a grumpy, he's not an asshole. Maybe he's an asshole when he's a teacher, but besides that, he's really not grumpy. He he offers Olive to use his lab. Listen, I'm no STEM academia type person, but that's gotta mean something, especially because the lab that she's using right now isn't really up to par. So for him to like give that up to her, it's so sweet to me. I'm no scientist, but I can assume that that means a lot. But I don't think you have to be a scientist to know that when someone does something that scares them or that they don't like for you, they really like you. Because Adam, although he's allegedly afraid of flu shots, he gets a flu shot regardless with Olive. And he doesn't even like, he tries to pretend like, oh, he's not going to do it. But he's, you know, she's pulling him and dragging him and he's not really putting up much of a fight. And this part really gets me. Not only does Adam buy a pumpkin pie frappuccino, which he hates, he buys it. He sends a picture of it to Olive and he says, I wish you were here. That would have got me. Mind you, like, we're at this part of the book where he thinks that Olive is in love with Jeremy. So he's saying this to a woman who he believes is in love with somebody else. Crazy. And I honestly think that Olive and Adam are a good duo. I think the calm and level-headedness of Adam really balances out because Olive really likes it. I think they really complement each other nicely. And I don't know how it wasn't obvious the first time around that Adam was the guy from the lab, because my second time around reading, oh, it's so obvious. Like, it's so in your face. I don't know how I didn't see it. And it's also shown to us that Olive is very much attracted to Adam before I guess they really fall for each other. She talks about things like specific romantic, I don't know if they're considered romantic. I think they're romantic to me. She talks about like the heat of his hands. She can tell when he's got a haircut. And one thing I think that made it very obvious that Olive was like really, really falling for Adam was she saw him and found him extremely attractive, but also saw Tom Belton both playing, what was it again? I think it was Frisbee. No, it was Frisbees. No way it was Frisbees. I don't think it was Frisbees, but she saw them playing together, both similar build, both shirtless, both around the same age, but like Tom didn't do it for her the same way that Adam did, because my girl is loyal. And also Tom Belton, when I catch you, Tom, it's not even funny when I catch you. It's on site, Tom Belton, really. Like, I won't get to it. Finally, the truth is revealed. And no, I'm not talking about the fact that Olive knows that Adam is the guy from 2 years ago in the bathroom, but that Adam knows that Olive is the girl from 2 years ago and has been in love with him for 2 years. Thank you, Tom Holden, Adam's much better best friend, for that piece of information. Besides Adam's feelings for Olive, we can also see the way that he changes her by him buying a pumpkin pie frappuccino, as well as buying a chocolate covered protein bar that he gives to Adam before she does her talk. Adam was so quick to like clean up the pamphlets and clean up all the things that could remind Olive of the talk and of the convention. So Adam giving Olive a t-shirt to sleep in? That part, that really got me. Underwhelming. It was 2 sentences long. I already said this before. Yeah, I did. It was 2 sentences long, and the second sentence was only 3 words. I think the main part of what really shocked people, it was the fact that Olive could fit the whole thing in his mouth. Besides that, the smut was underwhelming and boring. I do like that Adam was a munch. Adam Munch Carlson, as I called him. And Olive also, I think she gave Adam a blowjob, but like that was so unimportant. I completely forgot it happened my first time around, and the second time around it meant nothing to me. The first time around that I read this book, I think I was very hostile towards the end, but as I read it the second time around, I found the I love you in Dutch truthfully very, very sweet, as well as clever. There's like something really so special about it, if I have to be honest, because we learned that Adam's parents, Dutch is their native language, and we learned that although his parents were there financially, they were not emotionally. So it makes you wonder how many times or how few times you heard them say I love you, especially in Dutch. So I think to hear it from somebody who you love, especially to Adam, who's been looking for Olive for years now and had to go through this whole thing in this book with her, to finally hear I love you from her in your native language, that's got to mean a lot. So I think I was very harsh on it the first time around, so I'm very happy that I got this second opinion of it. Also, I guessed that Adam didn't hear I love you often from his parents because Dutch is a language he speaks, but when Olive says it to him the first time, he's so shocked. I think that's either by 1, just her saying it being a shocker, or 2, I think his lack of hearing him say it. It's probably the first one, but let's just pretend that it's the second one because I think that's super cute. The second time around, my final opinion of this book is, I don't know. While I was reading, I think I was trying to force myself to find moments that I liked, because I think I so badly wanted to have a second opinion of this book. I wanted to blame the hostility or maybe the annoyance that I had the first time around on why I didn't like this book. But, I mean, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't contribute, but I'd be lying also if I said that that was all it was. To be completely honest, I found this book long and boring. I felt like Olive got in her way a lot of the time, and that was purely to not create more conflict, but to keep the book going. I think this book would have been much better if it's like 340 something pages, right? Maybe 50, if you like chopped off the last 50 pages. If you removed like Olive getting in her way, I think this book would have been shorter and it would have been cuter. Not cuter, but it would have been shorter and it would have been, you know, a nice little thing to read, but it's long, like really long. I really do like Olive and Adam's love story, but I think it gets complicated simply so the book can keep going, and it's unneeded. This is the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first of many books and beauty videos, but this has been Books and Beauty, rereading The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is my makeup. It's very interesting. I think the real failure was honestly the pink at the bottom, but I think that the blue looks good. And then of course, you know, it's just gorgeous me. Okay, that was stupid. Bye. Thanks for watching. Say bye, Adam. Adam says bye.